Downsizing your home. Sounds simple, right? Less space, less stuff, less stress. But what if you get it wrong? Hey everyone, I'm Bart Daly with Life in the Bluegrass. And today we're going to be talking about downsizing. Yes, going from the large family home that you raised your children and pets in, or maybe just a big house to stay away from your spouse. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, you're looking to downsize, and certainly something that you don't want to take on by yourself. Well, here at Life in the Bluegrass, we're here to help. So stay tuned as we go through some tips and tricks to do and what not to do when you're downsizing. And yes, I've seen them all. So make sure you stick around to the end. So tell me down in the comments, what's the weirdest thing that you've moved and immediately regretted? And while you're down there, go ahead and hit that follow button so you can get updates from the latest and greatest that we produce here on Life in the Bluegrass. So I once helped a couple that they were moving into a townhouse from their large family home, 4 bedrooms, basement, 2-car garage, you name it. They had it all. I walked in during packing day and they were packing 27 coffee mugs. I'm talking about coffee mugs that, number one dad, number one uncle, greatest mom. And they were fighting over which ones they were actually going to move to the new townhouse. So downsizing can not only raise up a lot of arguments over the little things, but it has to be very strategic. What are you going to move and what are you not going to move? So let's break down the things not to do when you're downsizing. And these are mistakes that can cost you money, they can cost you space, and they can really cost your sanity. Let's jump in. I once saw this guy who had a broken treadmill, and he couldn't give that broken treadmill away because he was going to fix it. So he ended up moving this treadmill, which many of us use a treadmill as really just an extension of our closet. So he actually moved this broken treadmill, and it lived in his living room because the condo just wasn't big enough. So now his closet slash treadmill is in his living room. It's not what you want to do. So let's be strategic about this and start packing 2 to 3 months in advance. Do a room per week if you need be, and then use like a 3-pile method, which is commonly known as, so it's keep, donate, and trash. So you tell me, what's the hardest thing for you to pack and maybe sort through? Is it clothes, books, kitchen gadgets? Because you just don't have room for all of it when you're downsizing. Let's think about some keepsakes. Keepsakes is one that often causes anxiety among folks. So, your kids have made all these things. You can only have so much macaroni art. I'm a 1980s, 70s, and 80s kid, so a lot of macaroni art, right, guys? Trust me, they're not going to go into any type of Hall of Fame. And one of the things that I've read about that makes a lot of sense, and that's to create a memory box. A memory box for each and every member of your family. Pet also, if that matters. Create a memory box and place those items that you're going through that, little Johnny or little Maggie or, Spot would like to keep. And put those items in their box. And you could do one of two things. Do what my parents did. It's like, here you go. We're purging. So here you go. Take this and do with it what you will. I'm tired of keeping it for you, son. So you can do that, or maybe it's something that you as a parent just want to keep. But all of a sudden you're managing one centralized box and not a ton of storage boxes. They're piling up in the garage. You can't do that. So you don't want to give things away, but at the end of the day, you're downsizing for a reason. I had clients one time who were just so upset over getting rid of some of their Christmas ornaments, but they hadn't used those ornaments in years. First thing I would do, and I advise them, offer them to your kids, but be prepared for them to say, no, mom, no, dad, no, granny, I don't want those. We're not going to use those. So I'm curious, if you had one keepsake box, what would be the first thing you would put in that box? Think about that. Moving on, downsizing can sometimes mean upsizing your budget. Bart, what are you talking about? I'm going to this condo. I'm downsizing. Well, this is a conversation you need to make sure you're having with your agent. Downsizing doesn't necessarily mean that the cost or price per month to live there is going to go down, because you've got HOA fees, you have utilities, you have the possibility of special assessments, maybe renovations. Last, certainly not least, you're going to have storage. So maybe it's off-site storage, or maybe it's on-site storage, but you're going to have to pay for storage. Get all those budget numbers up front and work out the math. And then, I would always add 20% to that. And that could be your real cost per month. So, think about it. Would you rather have higher HOA fees, or do you want to shovel your own snow? Which is it? You got to get one of these out and do the math and see what really makes sense. Next, furniture. Oftentimes, if you're living in a larger home, the furniture fits in a larger living room. Well, if you're downsizing to, say, a condominium or maybe a townhouse, that sectional sofa that deserves its own zip code will not work at the new place. It deserves to probably live on Facebook Marketplace. So, other things that you've got to do. So, take the time to measure. Get one of these here and measure not only the living space, but measure your existing furniture to make sure it's going to work, because otherwise you're in trouble. Make sure you measure the size of the openings. Make sure you measure the corners that need to be taken. For instance, most recently, my wife and I purchased an office set and didn't measure the turn that goes into the office from the top of the stairs. So I had to do some last minute construction to the new furniture to be able to get the furniture in. So make sure you take these steps and be very methodical. You cannot be in a rush when you're downsizing. Take the time. This may mean that you've got to extend the closing time. That may be something that you add to your listing. It's always good to have the place that you're looking to move to first, and then you could take your time with the downsizing. For instance, hey, you got a California King. How are you going to get that bed up the stairwell of a condominium, or for that matter, a townhouse? Let's think about it. Furniture, it's not going to shrink. So a lot of people use under their bed as storage. Consider storage at your new location, at your new home. Is it vertical shelving that you need to get? Are there some hidden compartments that you can have built into your existing closets? Is there a storage facility on site? Anything and everything that you can do to figure out where everything's going to go. And as you go through your rooms and you go through and you start to downsize and you start to purge, you got your 3 different boxes. You got your keep, you got your store, and you got your pitch. When you're doing this, make sure that you're marking where everything goes, and go ahead and do the measurements. Make sure right there on the spot that it's going to fit your place. So, just think of it as doing your taxes by using the magic 8-ball. It's probably just not going to work out that well. So a realtor, it is our job to make sure that these transitions are complete. It's not just, hey, we sell it and we help you sell it and then you buy it. We are experts even when it comes down to moving. What's going to work, what's not going to work. And hopefully you're going to choose an agent who's going to be eye to eye and direct with you and say, hey, that's not going to work. Because that's what you need, especially when downsizing. It will hurt, but it's something that you've got to consider. You don't want at the last minute to be packing and trying to solve for where's everything going to go at the last minute. That's the last thing you want. And so many times I see people, they underestimate the timeline and they end up living in a hotel for weeks, or they're juggling 2 mortgages. These are expensive mistakes that you don't want to do. So it's okay to pay a pro to move it. It's okay to pay a pro to make things less stress free. As Life in the Bluegrass, I'm an EXP agent, and I take great pride in helping my clients not only to find that dream home, but help transition everything that they have more smoothly to that dream home. So if you're thinking about downsizing here in Kentucky, let's make it painless. My information is in the description. I would love to help you. And to me, it doesn't matter whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days. I am here to help you navigate these waters. Share this with anyone that you know that could be downsizing. There's many more tips. I'd love to talk to anyone who's ready to make that move. You take care and make it a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.